dude, no, for real though, like for real. It's I know, dude. I want to say, bro, you were probably the third. I think, yeah, I think like the third ever guest I had on the show, man, and we did it way back in like early
Mm,
2020, dude, way back. So thank you again, man, for coming back onto the show, dude. Um, and of
Thank you
course,
for
his
having
bro, and of course, his beast camp out in this bitch. Y'all already know the deal. Um, I had somebody do that I was telling too about the podcast, Miss Miss Kaylee. Yeah, so she's watching. I'm gonna have some more homies tune in and shit too, bro. So I got a lot of people who are excited to hear what you got to say and stuff you got to share. But how's life, bro? How's everything?
it's been a minute since I've been able to share, and I feel like I think just like Krump dancers in general, especially people like yourself, need to share more. Like it's not just about the dancing anymore. I think like having the podcast and even just like street styles in general
Mm-hmm.
need to share more because there's so much like, because I've been in the coaching space for a little bit and then so much shit happened that I had to like take a step back, reassess everything. And now I'm slowly coming back into the phase of like actually sharing. And in the way that I want to share as well,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to like dance, what it actually is. And we'll go into that in a little bit, but I just wanted to preface with that shit. But how have I been? That was your question, right?
Yeah, how you been, man?
Yeah. So fuck, man. I've been really good. Really, really good. Just like myself and Nadia are in our own space now. The
Nice.
last time that I was on the show, we were in Melbourne, which was
Mm-hmm.
in like 2019, 20, something like that. Um, yeah, so we've got our own space now. We've got fucking two cats that I love dearly. And yeah, I'm in my own studio now too, which is super dope. Um, yeah, man, just doing my best to live life literally one day at a time.
Ugh, bro, and we talked
You
about
know what
that
I'm
too.
saying?
We talked about that. Oh my God, one day, just one day.
Cause like, bro, there's so much like realizations that I've come to have in the past. Let's just say in the past year of just where I've been operating and how I've been operating
Mm-hmm.
that have been detrimental to my journey,
Like what, man?
detrimental to my presence. For example, like one of like it's really simple, but it's like the detail, or like how can I say this? The details of life create the bigger picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're living in a state of I wonder what the future holds, or am I actually going to be able to make this thing, like the vision in my head, real? We're living in a state of like
Mm-hmm.
futureness, let's say, rather than presence, if we get caught up in our mind like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've been in that state for such a long fucking time, bro. Probably like my whole Krump journey, which is like 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
Only this year have I actually been like letting go of the fucking reins and learning and doing my best to just flow with what is rather than what I think should be.
Ooh, ooh, that's a big one. To let let yourself accept things for as they are, not what you wish they would be. Is the
Yeah.
way. There's a way. Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a like it sounds so cliche because you hear like so many like self-development people and even like people like Sadhguru and all that kind of shit. Like they all talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I thought I understood it, and then obviously shit was still the same. I felt the same.
Yeah. There's
And
there's a thing too behind like when you hear these gurus talk and like self help. right? Like they are speaking from places I think of truth, right? And I
Yeah,
think that there's a part of ourselves that it's like I tell my friends it's like, we all talk about like, God take the wheel. We're driving, but we say God take the wheel. And there's truth behind it when you can really believe that and not have like your knee pressed up against the wheel trying to hold it in place, or like
yeah,
kind of having your hand hovering above the wheel. Like, nah, bro, you got to be hands back, like everything hands back, and just let life fucking take you. Let it take you, let it wash over you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And sometimes let it take the lead, and
yeah,
just enjoy that moment, enjoy where you are.
yeah. And I think that's so challenging to do. And one of the things that I actually haven't been able to talk about, but I've been having thoughts about a lot is like not understanding the like our spiritual nature
Mm-hmm.
creates so much fog in our brain to the point where we need prescription, to the point
Ooh.
where mental illness becomes a real fucking thing because we don't fully comprehend and understand why our brain is our brain and how why it operates in the way that we do,
Mm-hmm.
in the way that it does as like individually, because all of our brains operate in different ways and we see
Mm-hmm.
different things. But like that was a really big moment for me because mental health has been such a massive thing for me, going through like substance abuse,
Mm-hmm.
um and then on the flip side, like I don't smoke weed anymore, but like getting to that point was so hard because I knew that it was just like, not that it's bad, people smoke it for their own reasons or whatever, but like I created a relationship with it that wasn't healthy for me.
How so?
I knew that I didn't want to do it. And this goes back to like
Mm.
being the like living from my spirit rather than from my head. Cause from my head, I'm like, yo, like let me smoke, let me get
The
high.
burn one.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like I kind of like needed that, whether it be to fit in, whether it be to get out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But in turn, when every time I smoked it, well, not every time, let's say, I would say about 70% of the time that I would smoke weed, I would lose myself to it.
Yeah, the getting out of the head one, I like that. And I was talking with I was had to hit up mama about it. And and now I've been about 3 months clean. I've maybe smoked maybe like one or two times, bro. And even when I did, I was like, yo, put that out. like put that
Bro,
out.
it be like that. Because I got to the stage too where, and this was like years back, right? But I found obviously life is cyclical. So if you
Mm,
don't necessarily learn from the thing that is present, it's going to continuously come back around and it might get deeper and deeper.
ooh,
The
yes.
lesson might get bigger and bigger if you
Mm-hmm.
don't learn it like faster, let's say. Um, but I got to the point of smoking weed where I was just doing it for the sake of doing it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, something gonna be wrong. But it still, even from that point of like awareness, it took me so long to get out of the environment and just build the willpower to just like be like, this isn't actually for me. Because it
Mm-hmm.
was attached to my fucking old identity, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, yo, I thought you was weed, blah, 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 like smoking weed and shit. I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
And it
man.
was
And it's like it's been hard too. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's the smoking section though. It's like, yeah, but that's not the smoking section wasn't just because I came here and got high, bro. Like, you know, the whole idea of, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire, and these are fire conversations. So this is a
I love
smoking
that.
section right here, bro. Like, you know, like we used to call the neighborhood the section, like, oh, this is our section, and then you have the
Yes.
east section, you know, north section, and so
Yeah.
this is just where me and my people's at, bro, and a lot of
You
it,
could
yeah,
you
bro.
could also say you could also say that we're smoking on the ether.
Ooh, I fucking love you,
Yeah.
bro. I love it. I love it. And man, for real though, like there was that point, like, you know, when we were young and shit, bro, smoking weed was like this super like special ritual. Like, you know, it's like, yo, I got this J. We're gonna
Yeah.
meet up on Friday. And I mean, we're talking about this shit on a Tuesday. And it's like, yo, we're gonna meet up on Friday, we're gonna smoke this. And
Yeah.
then it turned into, you know, I get home and smoke. I fucking shower
Mm,
and smoke. I eat and smoke. I do
mm,
this and smoke. And it's like,
mm,
where did I get lost in this? You know, and if
mm.
I got to do this podcast, if and I looked at it like, if I got to do this podcast and be high, then I shouldn't be doing this podcast, right?
Right.
Because if it's like any relationship, if you're with somebody and it's taking you out of your balance, you're arguing and fighting, or they're getting you to drink and do drugs, like they're taking you out of that balance, bro, and you're not able to walk upright. You got to remove yourself. But I love
Totally.
doing this podcast way too much to remove myself from it. So I removed it from the podcast. You get what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
attachment and that association, I had to cut that. You know what I mean?
How like what? Because me and my partner been talking about this. My partner Nadia, um, she's fucking helped me with so much shit, like just realizations of myself within myself. But like, was it an emotional choice? Because I feel like we're obviously emotional beings, right? And like, let's say someone finds out that they are super, super sick, like really, really sick, or they
Mhm.
actually go through chemo or whatever it is. And then they're like, yo, I need to change my life. But why is it so hard for us to like just say, like, yo, I know that's bad for me. Why can't I just take the thing away?
Mm.
I mean, so like for you, was it yeah, like what was it that actually made you say, like, yo, I need to not do this thing?
I think, yeah, it was part emotional, and
Mm,
part of it was a realization like a necessity of clarity, I guess is the way I can say it, is watching my boy play.
mm,
I was, bro, I mean, I was out of my gourd. And he had woke up in the middle of the night, and I can't remember what was going on with him, but he woke up and he was like, "Dad," and usually that's when, if I'm around him, if I'm ever around him, once he hits the bed, I'll sneak outside, I'll go smoke,
mm,
and I'll enjoy my night. You know what I mean? I'll put on some Disney Plus, whatever. But
right.
he popped out the room and he's like, "Dad, you know, all this shit." I was like, "Well, come up on the couch, bud." And I remember laying there with him, and I was thinking like, damn, I love these moments. You know, when he's just cuddled up beside me, he's got his fucking Pikachu PJs on and shit. And the next thing I had knocked out. Me and him had knocked out, and I woke up and I was carrying him to the bed and I laid him down, and I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know how many more of these I got left. I don't know when the last time I took a shower with him. That one broke my heart when he was like, "No, dad." I was like, "What?" Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, I wash your fucking body, dog. Like, you know,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
you know, parent time. That's my time with him. Like, you know,
yeah,
and I was just like, damn, I don't know how many more of these I got left, you know, carrying him to the bed, or him wanting to crawl up beside me. And I don't want to be so out of my fucking dome piece that I fall asleep without realizing it. You know, I don't want to,
yeah,
I don't want to miss those fucking moments, man. And that's when I was like, I gotta stop this. I gotta stop the dro. Like, it's gotta go. Like, cause if it's knocking me out, even when my son is, you know, coming and crawling up on this couch with me. I mean, he loves sleeping on the couch with me, but no way, bro. I'm not. I just don't want to miss these moments. And it made me kind of think of other moments that pass by. Like, you know, you're smoking and then you say you're going to lab, you know, but how much of this lab is actually concentrated, dedicated to what's happening? Because a lot of us use that excuse of, well, I'm more artistic. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
but I'm sideways autistic when I'm fucking doing it because I just like lose myself, you know?
Yo.
And it's
Oh my.
just not, it doesn't bring me to my full potential like I used to
Yeah.
think that it did, or maybe even if it did at one point, is
Yeah.
just not serving that same purpose. And so I had to move away, man. Had to move away from it.
Yeah, that's dope. And I think like going back to what I was sharing before, that is a super like it's not a surface level. It's not even a physical how can I say like, oh, my lungs have XYZ in it. You know what I mean? It's like a
Mhm,
deeper purpose of you saying no to the thing. And
mm,
that's what helped me say no to it as well.
mhm.
Because
What was the moment for you?
like I think it was a series of moments, but what I guess like was the straw off the camel's back was like my whenever I did have it, my connection to Nadia would sh-
Mm,
it would shift. And like whenever I was a lot of the times when I smoke, I just go so internal that everything else around me is somewhat like non-existent.
mhm,
You know what I mean? And I get caught up in my own head. And if my thoughts aren't healthy at the time, then I'm just fucking spiraling down. And
yeah,
I've been doing that spiraling down situation for so many years, bro. So many years. And I knew that it wasn't healthy for my relationship. Even though she was okay with me smoking. Like I'm in my own space now. If I want to go out and smoke a J, and bro, even when I say a J, it's like one puff and I am so good. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But like, yeah, it just like affected how I showed up in my relationship. So I was like, yo, I know that I have to not do this thing.
Bro, and a girl, one of the last girls I was dating, that was something that fun was associated with. Was let's,
Mhm.
you know, we get up, we smoke, we walk the dog, we smoke, we go over here, we smoke, we do this, we smoke, and you know, we were doing this like whole long distance thing for a second, and um, I would smoke, bro, at the house, and next thing I was just going through all these cycling of thoughts, right? All these anxieties, you know, and of course the normal relationship anxieties topped on everything else that I was going through.
Right.
And mind you, hadn't been in a relationship for close to 3 years. And I was in the gym. I was in the gym maybe 2 to 3 times a day. And she sent
Wow.
me a reel, and it was saying, the guy was like, yeah, if you see a guy, it was Kevin Gates. And he was like, yeah, you see that man who's working out 2, 3 times a day? Like he's in pain. There's something wrong with him.
Ooh,
It's a cry for
shit.
help. It's a, you know, because he can't resolve the pain in his head, he's
Mm.
mitigating it by making the pain of his body match it. And she
Ooh.
sent me that. She's like, is there anything you want to talk about? And I was like, no, baby, I'm okay. Like, you know, but clear lie, dude, clear lie. And I was like, no, 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 I'm fine. You know, us guys,
Yeah,
no, I'm fine. We're
yeah,
good. Of course we're good, you know?
yeah,
Um, and that was kind of, I think that was the beginning moment. And then when me and her broke up, smoking would do it to me again. I would think about her. I would think about, you know, this and that, the arguments. And there was a lot of the times I was like, guys, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. I don't want no more. It's making me fucking, I would tell him I'm freaking out. I'd be
yeah,
pacing, bro. I'd be pacing in my 1 bedroom apartment, like just pacing like a madman. Um, Caught my balance, and then yeah, that stuff with Elijah. That's when I knew. I was like, it's not the relationship that's causing me to be this way. It's not the stress from work. It's this thing that is not allowing my mind, like you're saying, bro, like that haze, this veil is like I gotta pull it back. It's got to get pulled
yeah,
back. It's got to go, dude. It's got to go.
yeah, yeah, and I think, like, only when you truly let go of something, or take time away from something, do you actually understand what it was doing and how it was affecting your perspective
Absolutely.
and how you operate? Because, like, if you say someone, to someone that does smoke weed, like, bro, you should not do that. Or tell him, or we share our stories with them. They're like, yo, that's dope. They're still hitting it.
That's
You know what I
crazy.
mean? Yeah. That's crazy. And it's like, nah, I can never give this up,
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's the challenging part because a lot of people just go about life not that they don't question things, but I think it's like the change is fucking uncomfortable as shit.
Change
Like a
always
lot
is.
of Yeah, change always is, and like especially when you're doing like the self work, the deep
Yeah.
ass work, it is so confronting
Mm-hmm.
because you can't. I mean, you can lie to yourself, but then you're just living in denial, and then
Yeah.
you're guilty, and then you're still smoking that shit. Spiral, you know, and like I think that's when Nadiah's helped me a lot with that. And I've had to learn so much about my like relationship style, how I show up in my relationships, why I act the way that I do, and continuously like recommit to her.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my
Like,
God.
bro, I think like I have these thoughts obviously because I go through this shit, but like I think that's why, in my opinion, a lot of relationships don't last is because they're not willing to recommit and just be like, yo, um, even set boundaries, even set like healthy expectations of each other
Mm-hmm.
of how to show up in a relationship and in the relationship. Like, man, there's so many times where I've wanted to fucking run. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that, especially in the last, let's say, 2 years, that I've been such an like escape artist of just facing the realness, even though I thought that I was always facing the realness.
Mm-hmm.
I would always run and escape.
I think it is a scary battle when, especially with, it's one thing to deal with it on your own, but when you're doing this self work with a partner, it's hard enough for us to look ourselves in the mirror and say, these are the blemishes of my internal, you know what I mean? These are these traumas I've dealt with. These are these different things. And it's easy for us. I think it's easier because we can walk out into the world, put our hat on, put our earrings on, and feel good, and the world will never see.
Yeah.
And it's scarier when you have your partner, this person that finds you in your most vulnerable moments. I used to tell my son's mom, she would be like, "Why is it so hard for you to open up?" It's like, I'm already naked in front of you, like that's hard enough for me. Okay. And now you're pointing out, this shit because my dad would do it, or this thing because of my mom, or this thing
Yeah.
because of the relationship with my family, or this thing because of just who I am, because of the person I am. That's
Mm,
tough. Like, I want you to see me as this perfect man because I want to be a perfect man for you. But you're pointing out
mhm.
all my flaws, honey.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
then and then you're just like, "Motherfucker."
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, I could beat myself up all day, but you,
Yeah.
like, ooh, girl, you better just go away. Like, I'm gonna go sit in the living room. But that runaway, that, in how you show up, that's beautiful, bro. Like, it's a question too, God, recommitting to somebody, you know,
Mm,
to recommit, to choose them, not only choose them because you can choose them and they not choose you,
right,
but then
right.
when they say, "Hey, I choose you too," and you make that commitment to it, put it down on wax and say, "You know what? I'm gonna ride for you. I'm gonna look at these demons for you, for
Mm,
me, for
yeah,
us in this joint union that we have." That's beautiful, brother. I'm glad.
yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad for you, man.
Thank you, bro. And I think like one of the biggest things that I'm learning is unconditional love. Like I thought that I always knew what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but she shows me love in so many different ways. And some of them used to be so fucking uncomfortable that it made me want to run.
Like what?
Or I think it's more so, it's not like massive things, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just like daily nuances that make me question like if she's the one kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because at the end of the day, going back, like cycling back to what we were talking about before about being present with what we do have and not being in control of it, is like sometimes I get caught up in my head of maybe there's better out there.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have to remind myself like she's been there through everything. She's seen me in all my different phases of being, and I want to experience this new version of myself with her. And
That's beautiful.
it's been fucking hard though.
Mhm. There's a
Because,
beauty in that too, though. There's a beauty in that
oh
struggle
yeah,
making it work, you know?
yeah, for sure. And I think like if I think this is also something that can happen a lot, especially if you're not if the partner that's like kind of pointing fingers saying like, yo, this is why you're doing this. This is why blah blah blah. If they're not doing the work as well,
Mhm,
then that's when it just becomes unhealthy
mhm,
because it's just like they're continuously pointing fingers at you saying you need to do this, you need to change basically, whether it be like direct or indiscreet or
mm,
discreet, sorry.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? And
There was
that's what also can lead to like disconnection and like breaking up, so to speak,
yeah,
because it's like you're always pointing fingers at me. What about you, homie?
yeah, yeah, and there was something as you're saying, like, she's helping you confront these things, man, and you know, I think everybody at some point in their relationship looks across the table and says, "Could I do better than this?" You know, and I think that is a part of us that wants to run away, and that's a
Yeah,
part of us that says, you know, it's the shying away from the work, you know,
yeah, yeah,
and I do think that there is a way when our partner, I don't want to just say women, right? Because I
yeah,
think men can do this for women too, or however people want to mix it up.
yeah,
Um, is when we speak life into each other. You know, there's a way to shine light onto the shadows, you know what I mean, of our ignorance or just those traumatic pieces that we try to hide. In those shadows that we try to hide them in, there's a way for us to shine light onto it that's gentle, right? But firm
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and 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 reassuring that it's like, hey, like there's something over there, you know, it's a little dented, but we're going to work it out. You know, we're about to iron this bitch out, me and you together. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like you said, like not this finger pointing, like you need to do this and you need to do that,
mm-hmm,
but like, hey, this is who I know you are. You know, this is who I know you can be. How do we
yes,
get there? What do I got to do to be there? You know, for you, for us. You know what I mean?
yeah. And something that's helped me with that as well is like doing the fucking taking action on the fucking like concept of Benjamin Button, right?
Ooh.
Yeah. Like for those of you that don't know, I'm sure everybody that's listening knows who Benjamin Button is and the story of it. But like I feel as though, you know, in a physical sense, we grow up baby to this old person that potentially could be in fucking diapers as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So taking that metaphor, but like flipping it around where it's like we grow up from innocence into tainted, and then we need to go back to
Innocence.
our base, like connecting to our like childlike self.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's helped me heaps, because I know that my kid wouldn't be smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like Ian, I ain't 10 and smoking,
Mm-hmm.
you know? That was just what I needed to go through to realize all of the things that I have realized. But like, bro, like I have a whole case of toys now. Let me
Stay
show you this.
childlike, man.
It's fucking fire, bro. Look. I don't know if you can fully see it, but
Oh
that's
yeah. Oh
bam,
yeah.
you
Oh
know?
yeah. Gotta stay childlike, bro. Gotta stay childlike.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like you really have to. And I think like a lot of people, like Nadia again, helped me, like allowed me to do that. I was walking through IKEA one day and I was like, I think this was the start of it. I saw a bear and I was like, I want that bear. And I was trying to justify not getting it. Oh, it's 50 bucks and like I don't know what it's meant for, blah blah blah. But like when I bought that shit, it felt so fucking good
Just felt
because I
right.
could hold, what? Yeah, it just felt right because I could hold the bear. And like always used to have, like when I was younger, I used to have, my toys, like my
Mhm.
go-tos. I used to bring like this little gorilla called Benny everywhere,
Shout
and
out
now I
Benny the
have this
Gorilla.
bear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to have this, so now I have this bear, and like I don't always go back to it and stuff like that, but now it's playing its role in my household, which is like, how cats needle.
Mm-hmm.
One of my cats do that, and it sleeps on the bear, and I'm like, fuck yeah, this is dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like just like I completed a Lego group in the
Mhm.
afternoon yesterday, and it's so much fun.
Mm. See, and we have a question too on Twitch, and it says,
Yeah.
"What does it mean to go back to childlike? Children are pretty naive." And though that may be true, right? That may be true, but there is a sense of naivety or naivete that we should aspire to have,
Oh
right?
fuck yeah.
And I was just telling some friends like this was a lot of people ask me why I kept dancing over the years, right? Like some of my old dance buddies from high school.
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
tell them it keeps me young. It keeps me young. And that naive idea of like, yeah, but it's just dancing. It's like maybe to you, but to
Yep,
me, this is everything.
yep.
It's what I did first period, second period, lunch of high school. It's what I
Mhm.
it's what I would huddle around the TV and watch America's Best Dance Crew or watch, fucking Showtime at the
So
Apollo
yeah,
and watch the Steppers,
yeah.
and I was telling my buddies too, we were talking about boundaries in a relationship. And my
Mm,
buddy was like, I really hate that word. He's like, I hate the term of boundaries. He's like, it sounds so controlling. And I was like, look at it like this. I was like, when you play tag with your buddies, you set a boundary because that's where we don't play. Inside this boundary is where we play. We have fun, and you can hide under this car, behind that tree, underneath that bush, whatever. No holds barred. But outside that
yep.
boundary, that's a no go. We can't,
Mm,
like, you know what I mean? And so, love childlike, play childlike,
yes.
dream childlike,
Yeah,
who was it? Like Warren Buffett didn't hit his wealth until he was like in his 40s. So he had a childlike dream all the way up into this point. In his
yeah,
fucking 40s, be like, you know what I mean? So yeah, be childlike with the things that you pursue. I think, we get older and we like to have these ideas, and I think this kind of goes to what we've been talking about. Like we put on all these expectations, adult like expectations, and all these things, and
mm,
sometimes you got to peel that back and remember who you really are. Because we are born with innocence,
yeah,
and 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 we need to remember that, like, deep down, not Putch, not Monster Beast, not Corpse. Underneath all this flesh,
Yeah.
there's some essence there that is pure and innocent, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes we got to remember that. We got to remember that and really
Yes.
aspire to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. 100%, bro. So what was the question again?
What does it mean to go back to childlike?
Yes. Okay, dope. So for me, I just look at what my younger self enjoyed. And then I go back there and experience it again. Whether I like it or not, I have to go back and experience it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's not to say like having like being naive to a set, like let's change naive to delusional,
Ooh.
right? Like, ooh, I can touch that stove and it's not going to be hot, but it's really going to be hot.
Mm-hmm.
Our conscious self, our adult, let's say our mature self understands what not to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the more conscious we get, the more we also want to protect ourselves.
Ooh.
And yeah, going back to your child self is enjoying, for me personally, is enjoying the things that you've taken away or society has taken away or your parents have taken away and reconnecting with that part of yourself.
Mm.
Because like for me, my parents broke up when I was like 12, you know, that's when the turbulence started. And I
Mm-hmm.
already had to feel like subconsciously my instincts kicked in and I was like, yo, I need to man up. I need to be a man. Because if my dad ain't here, if my older brother ain't here because he's got his missus and blah, blah, who's the next in line? Me.
Mm-hmm.
So that took away that kind of stripped me from experiencing childlike teenage years,
Absolutely.
you know? Um, and going back to your point about like dreaming and experiencing those dreams, so important to create from a childlike state
Yep.
because that's clear, that's pure. And going back to also what you said about like this is why I dance, bro. Dancing and like let's just say exercise in general, but for me it's dancing is the number one modality in the fucking world, bro. In the world,
Mm-hmm.
because it's hitting every aspect of your being, the physical, the mental with creativity. Obviously, physical's like exerting the energy and stuff. And then you have emotion. Krump is like one of the most emotional dancers in the fucking world.
Absolutely.
And it allows you to connect to those parts of yourself, whether you consciously know where the movements, the energy's coming from, that doesn't matter. That's a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a spiritual tip, I'm not, bro. Every time I dance, I am not Ian, even though I am, right? I'm expressing Ian, but it's through a space of being okay with everything that comes out,
Mm-hmm.
which then brings me back to being the clearest I ever am in life. After
Right.
I dance, I'm just like, yo, firstly, it's like, yo, I'm fucking tight, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I know my shit. I know my shit. Like, I'm buck like that. But then, like,
A buck like that for real though.
when it comes back to it, is like everything's actually good. Like you have, you know, because there's so much adrenaline, there's so much dopamine that gets um like infused and activated in our brain and body when we dance, that we're on a high for a little bit and then we come down and then it's like reality kicks in again and it's like, yo, I have to do this, I have to show up for this, blah, 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 blah. And that's why I think like so many people, like myself included, is like, fuck, I wish I could just dance all day. Or I
Mhm.
wish, in another sense, it's like, I wish I could just be happy all day. But it's not, for me, I don't think that it's actually, it's a tangible thing, but that doesn't negate the fact that emotions and mental instability will arise.
Mm.
Like you just have, like, we're just fucking human, bro. We have to go through those things to learn. But dancing is one of the most childlike things that you can do, in
Mhm.
my opinion, because I can be anything when I dance. I can express anything when I dance, you know?
That's
And
powerful,
that's
bro.
what's, yeah, and that's what's so healthy about it. That to me makes it like so spiritual. Like I was talking to one of my students recently, um, just about how at the moment, even though I want to be in battles and, get W's and all that kind of shit, it's like I'm in a space of like reminding myself and being okay with the sacredness of expressing myself
Mhm.
and the sacredness of even the session and the battles. Because I don't battle, I've never really battled for W's because I know that that's an ego thing. Even
Yes.
though I obviously want the W's,
Mhm.
I still dance from, I do my best to dance from the space of like, this is me, and I'm just going to show up however I need to in this moment. And if I'm in a battle, I would exchange with that person to make sure that they're not just giving me technical shit. Like,
Mhm.
give me you. I want you. And if you ain't getting to that point and you're either just thinking or it's just like technical shit and I don't feel you, then that's where Hood comes in and just like does his best to like kind of break all of that shit down so that you can get to your actual pure expression.
Dude, and that is a big part of something I think I've kind of myself personally have been going through. I've came home from Cali a few times off the road, battled hour, battled shakes,
Mm-hmm.
and took some L's, man. And it 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 was weird going in there. There was so much anxiety of like, I gotta do good, I gotta do good, I gotta do good. And I just didn't let myself just be me, you know what I mean? And just be, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
exist in that moment and was so worried about all this other stuff. And now being back on the road and I was in Austin, Texas. Shout out my boys from Austin, Texas. Um, we were at this club and we were just dancing. And I was like, yo, fam, this is where I gotta be. Like, just just dance, man. Like, fuck all this other shit. And I remember one of the pals we was with, he's like, I had stopped dancing. My social battery runs out pretty fast, and it ran out way too quick. And he's like, man, you're so buck, bro. All this shit. And I was like, nah, man, that's you guys, bro. You guys are lit, dude. And he's like, no, for real, man, you're dope. And I had to like soak that in and be like, you know what, I am tight, man. I'm good. I'm good at this dance. And I just need to just vibe with these people. They're not judging me. You know what I mean? There's no like who in the fuck in this club wants it right now? I'll battle every single person in this club right now for y'all shoes, man. Like the
Yeah.
fuck? Like, and just exist in this moment. And the same person's also saying that, people don't have the financial freedom to have fun the way that they wish they can have fun. My friend, let me give you a piece of advice. If your fun requires finances, you should probably
Come on now.
you should reassess what fun means to you and it means you're not going childlike enough. because I
That
watched
part.
my son pick up a stick and have a fucking blast. Like,
Oh, that's
just
that
sitting on the
shit.
swing. Dude, he's old enough. Oh my God, my son's old enough.
How old is he right now?
He's going to be 6 in like 3 months, dude. So he's
Wow.
5, man. And he's finally at the point where he can swing on the swings by himself. And
Nice.
again, like, I was like, how dare you not let me push you on the swing anymore, dude? But now I get to swing beside him. And he told me one day,
Yeah.
like, Dad, swing with me. And I was like, okay. And I got on there. And next thing I was like, I can go higher than this. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I can go, ooh, like, ooh, watch this, Elijah. Watch Dad. Like, watch how high I can go. And it was like, I'm having fun with my son, dude, who's, he's barely old enough to take care of, like, the basic self-atomic things. Like,
Right.
but I'm having a blast, bro. Having a fucking blast with him. And so childlike doesn't you need to go deeper. If finances is something that you think is hindering you, go even deeper. That's why now I don't press myself, like what you were saying right now too is big. Like trying to get to every battle, trying to get to every session, trying to, I want those dubs under my belt, blah 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 blah. Nah, bro. I need to get back to being comfy just dancing in the corner of my fucking bedroom. Like I used
Right.
to. You
Yeah.
know,
Same.
before the Junior Dread happened, before
Yeah.
the Corpse and the Monster Beast happened, before those things happened, I was more than happy with dancing in the restroom, fresh out the shower, no towel, or just hopping out the bed like, yo, this feels fuck. Like, I'm about to get this in real quick. Those things, the bear, or the gorilla, find that thing that just you can just carry in your arms all day long. You know what I mean? That brings you that sense of childlike, bliss.
Yeah.
Blissfulness and naive is not the same thing.
No.
Blissful is what I've been searching for, I think, over these probably like last year and a half.
That's yeah. Just to extend on that point, like children don't need money to have fun. Go to a park and do fucking roly polies or some shit. I don't know. You know what I mean?
For real.
Like it could be something as random as like going to a beach and skinny dipping. Like
Yep.
whatever gets the heart pumping.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like think about it as like dopamine. What gives you dopamine? For me, buying, like, obviously it is a quote unquote financial thing, but like all my thoughts when I was buying those things is like, it's too much money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need this shit. But like, I fucking love that I have them now, which is
Mm-hmm.
like frames and like, bro, this artist, I went to Sydney for Red Bull, and this artist, bro, fire from Japan, she draws shit.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Bro, like insane. So I got Tanjiro, I got fucking I can't remember his name, but the dude that wears the beast mask. Do you watch Demon Slayer?
I've dabbled. I have dabbled in it, but not enough. Not
Boy,
enough.
ooh, man, you gotta watch it. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, like small things, man. Like take yourself out on a date.
Oh, for real. Oh,
It
God.
doesn't have to be money influenced, you know. And if you're tight on money, go get yourself ice cream. But like
Mhm,
consciously do it with intention. Not just be like,
mhm,
oh, I feel like an ice cream. I'm just gonna go get ice cream. It's like, yo, I feel like ice cream. Let me get the flavor that I haven't gotten for a while.
mhm.
You know, like those small things, even though they may seem like super small or minuscule, like I was saying before, it's in the details.
Yes. Yes, in the motherfucking details of it all. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Uh, I think in a big thing for me has been putting the phone down, man. Today I
So
had to switch hotels and all this shit. And so I'm waiting to check in, man, to the new hotel. And uh, like you said, bro, there's a joint inside the mall that serves banana splits, and that was something me and my mom would do on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with her, and I was like, Mom, I'm about to get me a banana split. She said, please do it. She said, you can put the phone down. I was like, okay. And so I put the phone down, stuffed it in my pocket, got the banana split. And I mean, it had never tasted better in my fucking life. It's like, and I'm just watching, moms and dads go around with their kids and people are doing their shopping and I'm like, I don't think I've absorbed the people around me, the noise, the hearing the cash register behind me, this mom's on her kid and this dad's over here, laying down a life lesson real quick. And here I am smashing on this, just crushing this banana split, dude, just going in on this damn thing. And I was like, yo, I haven't experienced life like this in a minute. Like, it's something so insignificant, so inanimate,
Yes.
to say, like, yo, like this was me and my mom before I had a cell phone, before the Instagrams and Facebooks and Twitter, this is what joy was. And it really did take me back to that place of like me and my mom, hot summer day, chilling over a banana split together, man.
Fire. I love that. I actually have like a quick exercise for the person that asked that question. Write down the things that you used to do as a kid that you really enjoyed and the things that you felt like you needed as a kid and you didn't have. And then slowly tick those motherfuckers off and do them with consciousness and intention and have no expectation of what you're supposed to experience either, and just allow it to happen.
I'm gonna take that one too. I'm taking that one for myself too. I need to practice that more, bro.
Yeah, man. Because like going back to what I was saying before about like me having to grow up real quick, I got stripped of the things that I wish that I had. So I think that I've thought that life is very much about like, in a sense, reparenting ourselves to the point where we don't actually need any external person or thing to create what we know we can create for ourselves.
Ooh, that's big, man.
Yeah.
And I experienced that too. I experienced and just that whole saying of, had to be the man of the household. My parents split up, like I was like in the second grade, and about 2 years, well, a year literally after that, we moved to North Carolina. And so I was very far removed from my dad. And then a year after that, my brother went to the military. And it took me a while to get to the point where I realized what kind of effect that kind of had on me. But I had to become the man of the house. And I really had no clear example of what that was supposed to be, what it looked like. And my parents were still going through the arguments, and it's your dad's fault, it's your mom's fault. So I didn't even look towards my dad as what a man should be,
Same.
and you know what I'm saying. And so trying to figure that out at a fourth grade, fifth grade understanding level was
Bro, even
insane.
trying to figure the fuck of that shit out now.
Dude,
Like,
I'm saying, oh my God. And people look at me, they're like, oh, you're a good dad. I'm like, bro, I'm still trying to figure out how to do this shit. You know what I mean? It came with no manual, no instructions. And so judge me if you want, man. But I got to we'll figure it out, one step at a time. Man, and dude, Ian, I'm so glad to have you on the show. And I'm so glad, because the last time, man, we got into like very meta, conversations, and I'm glad that I can have these type of conversations with you, because I think it's like it's a missing part It's just the
Mm.
missing part of society now, let
Yeah.
alone, I think, some of the circles of friends, especially like the groups that we find ourselves around in Krump and dance.
Right.
A lot of people are so far removed from these conversations of like the deeper work, what's going on inside, or what we can elevate towards, or like, yo, there's a frequency out here, bro. Like there's really things that are moving around us,
Yeah.
for us, to us, with us.
Hmm.
And I always like picking your brain about it, man, and hearing you talk about it.
Bro, one of the, like you said, like you is like people are so far removed from those conversations. I remove myself from so many Krump situations for that reason,
Mm,
because it's like, why would I keep putting myself in a space where I don't have the opportunity to share like that? Like now I can choose and be okay with not being at an event or being at a session, because my my overall well-being is more important than
yes,
being in a session.
yes, absolutely.
And then it goes back to like it being a sacred space as well,
Hmm.
because we know what it's like to be pressured in um showing up at a session
Hmm.
and following the session, and you know like being at your best technical, having all that added pressure in a battle and all that kind of shit. But it's like, that's not everything. And it's a worldly concept. And I think that sometimes the sacredness gets stripped away from the session, because not everyone has to be on that wavelength either.
Hmm.
But if that is like, if that's drowning out your being, then that can be, for me, that's been the challenging part, because like, bro, I'm in Perth, and everywhere else around Australia, let's just say, is like, getting flown out and doing all this like dope shit, going to events, like people from the other states are flying people from like Brisbane to Sydney and all that kind of stuff. But Perth, there's nothing
Hmm.
like that. So it's like, coming back to Perth, I've had to realize and like readjust how I think and how I be with the dance and what I'm building as well.
And there's a big, big, big point where you're making, man, for me at least, and I hope,
Mm.
because a lot of I'm Native American, and a lot of my Native American brothers and sisters and family, all like they all resonate with this idea that I used to do our traditional dancing and singing, bro, when I first got into anything like this,
Right.
anything expressive.
Yeah.
And one thing about singing around the drum is you're not supposed to be intoxicated. Some people
Mm.
will go as far to say that you shouldn't have any intoxicants for more than like X amount of days.
Right. Right.
And you're also not supposed to be harboring any ill will or bad feelings,
Yeah.
because it's a sacred place. And
Mm.
my mom would tell me that her mom would tell her, so grandma would say that to sing at the drum is to pray a second time. And
Oof.
bro, bar, right? And
That
so,
gave me chills, bro.
bro, and I say to myself, like, why am I going to the session feeling a certain way? I,
Yo.
maybe be near it, right? Because maybe it does make me feel better.
Yeah.
Maybe it does make me happy, right?
Mm.
But
Hmm.
why am I going to be in this session expressing myself in a way that's tainted by something that happened at work, or that's being pressured on by some kind of societal expectation of me, right? That's
Yeah.
not allowing me, and like you were saying, bro, like not allowing me to be my most authentic self. right? And so I've gotten far removed from a lot of people because I can't talk this way. I can't, like, yes, bro, I hear what you're saying, but are you hearing me, bro? Like, are
Yeah.
you accepting of what I'm trying to tell you right now? I'm not telling you to believe in what I believe in, but can you hear what I'm saying? Does it land anywhere, bro? Like nowhere, nothing. Like you ain't got nothing. Okay, like, and I've had to get more used to putting myself in places where my thoughts, ideas, and presence are celebrated and not tolerated. You know,
Ooh, say that one more
I'm
real, bro.
telling you,
That's
man.
it. That's it. That's it right there. And that's why, like, we've created that space. Like 1010 performers, like myself and Nadiah, have created that space. And
Mm,
that's for everybody that's involved, not just us. You know, like we really listen, we really share, we really like see each other for who we really are. You know, like when our students are going through some shit, it's not just like, oh, you still need to be Krump. It's like express that shit. Like we
mm-hmm,
tell them, we make sure that they do that. And we make sure that they have and they know that they have an open line of connection where they can just be like, yo, I'm fucking going through this shit. I don't know if I can show up. Like we had our mid-year recital back in July, and a lot of them were really nervous. They were really anxious. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do in these battles. Um, like I'm so scared. I'm just like, to one of them, I said, "Fuck your ego."
ooh, yes,
She was
yeah,
like, "Yo, I need some advice. Like, give me something right now." And I was just like, "Okay, fuck your ego, because that's all that's talking right now.
mm-hmm,
Just show up and dance. Let go of every expectation that you have. Fuck your ego."
mm-hmm,
And then there was another chick. Um, she was feeling like, and Nadia speaks to her a lot more than me, but she was like, "Yeah, I've been feeling lonely," and she was crying. But like going back to your point of like not like coming to the session with those outside things, I think if you're doing that consistently, like for me, I know that I was doing that, and Krump was the escape
yeah,
from the realness of life and dealing with my shit. Krump was the escape. But now I intentionally go in that bitch and I'm just like, whatever needs to come out needs to come out. So
mm-hmm,
even if it is those external things, I'm gonna session them out until they're gone, and then I can be the pure being that I know that I am.
mm-hmm,
You know, that's why I also like when I battle someone, that's my actual intention because I know that they're gonna overthink because I'm me, you know,
mm-hmm,
I'm a heavy hitter or whatever. And it's like, I don't care about you showing, like, yeah, I care about you showing up, but not necessarily in a Krump way.
mm-hmm,
Like, show me you, show
please,
me your truth.
mm-hmm,
Let me feel that part of you. And then all I do is just continuously like prod and prod and prod until they, you know, they snap basically. And they're just like, ah, and then they get to that point. And then I'm like, okay, my job's done. Remember that feeling. That's where you can go every time you dance.
mm-hmm,
And sometimes it's also just like for me, if I'm at the session and I've got all of this shit, it's like I know like my first 2 to 3 rounds are either going to be trash in the sense of like not having that playfulness or that purity. I just need to get shit off.
mm-hmm,
I'm okay with that now because I don't have anything to prove. Because in Krump and in street dance styles in general, there's so much that you have to prove to people, right?
they want you to believe that. They want you to
Yes,
believe you
yes,
prove all
exactly,
this stuff.
exactly. All the time, bro. All
Mm-hmm,
the time. And like that's been such a I think that's one of the most like unhealthy aspects of street dance culture ever. And I think sometimes it can be healthy because you need that push a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, you need that a little bit. But when it's overridden by like the essence of why you started, then that's where the issue is.
Yeah, dude, the little homies from Oxnard, man. Shout out Oxnard and shout out Childish. They had a battle at Playgrounds, man, and I hit them all up. I hit them all up before their battles and stuff, and because I wasn't able to make it,
Yeah.
and out here in
That was
Texas, where
great, by the way.
was that?
Like playgrounds look crazy.
Bro, the whole event was insane. And they all went and did their thing, man. And I was very proud of them. I got a lot of good feedback about them from a bunch of different people. Big shout out to Dread. I mean, out there at EBS right now, and shout out the
Yep.
big homie at EBS. They both gave me good feedback on him. But all of them was like, I'm worried about this. I'm scared about that. I was like, listen, bro, you're tight. You're talented. Just go show them who you are, who I know that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a pound of flesh, and that's all I want. You know what I mean? Give that's all I demand. I told him a pound of flesh, no bone, no gristle. No bone, no gristle, no fat, only flesh. That's what I demand. Just give me flesh, bro. I just want that raw, the technical part, this whole your moves and this and the music you chose. Man, fuck all that shit, bro. Just go dance. Go have a good time. Yeah, fuck all that, bro. Just go dance, dude. Let's go have a good time. You're in the garage. You're in my garage, bro. Just they're going to feel you. You know what I mean? And they're going to respect you. And I told them that they're going to respect who you are by the time you guys are done. They don't know you yet. But now I get hit ups of, oh, Twin Corpse was lit. Oh, Little Corpse was lit. Shout out Little Corpse, he bodied. Junior Corpse is tight. Da 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 da. Like, yeah, bro. Like, they're talented. They got some growth to do. They got some more figuring out who they are to do for sure. But man, they are on their way. Y'all better respect it now. Better respect it now, man.
And that's something that we put emphasis on as well, is like, okay, we give you the moves, but they're just moves at the end of the day. We give you the foundation, but that's just the tool for you to express your unique energy signature.
Ooh, yes.
Right. And if you can't do that first, to me, the moves don't mean shit. I can obviously appreciate, like, you've done the lab, you've created dope material and all that kind of thing. But it's like, bro, if I don't feel that, I'm not feeling you. And that, like, what?
Dude, especially us, man. Like, me coming from the hip hop scene and then coming to Krump, and then you just being in Krump for so long, dance to me, dance is dance. It is what it is, right? Dance is dance. And so I've seen so many dance moves. I don't think that there's an angle or a texture or a groove that's really gonna wow me if that's all it is. It's like
Yes.
I've seen it, bro,
100.
but the way you do it, how it makes me feel is like,
Mhm.
ooh, okay, now what do we got cooking over here, buddy? Like, it just draws me in,
Yeah.
that feeling, that essence of who you are, man. It's
Yeah.
captivating,
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's what, like, a lot of to me, that's the difference between, like, the OGs and the people that have been in it super long to the people that are coming into it now. They're all learning, like, the technical aspect of it. But if they're not getting the, like, proper facilitation by whoever they're being mentored by, they're losing out. They're missing out on the biggest part of dancing.
It's supposed to feel a certain way.
100%.
Yeah, man. Dude, and so you guys are doing this 10-10,
Yes.
right? You and your partner, man, and you guys are doing that all out of Perth. Where are you guys hoping to take it?
Oh man, that is a good question. So right now we're in the process of just like having Perth as our home base. Like we do online stuff as well. But we would love for it to be like a worldwide thing,
Nice.
like 100%. And especially like I feel like we're teaching in a lane that isn't fully out there yet,
Mm.
you know? Like, yeah, we teach the foundation, but like we really mentor these people, like on a holistic sense, to the point where they really appreciate the dance and the space. We're
Yes.
basically giving people what we never had. And for me, like being like a pioneer of Perth is like what I never had.
Mm-hmm.
Because I only knew what I knew at that point, and I was trying to create the space that I have now. But um, I had to go through trials and tribulations. Um, but yeah, man, like we keep it exclusive as well. Because going back to the boundary conversation is like, if you ain't actually like, we don't want anybody in it that's just gonna come for a class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we lock those motherfuckers in
Love that.
for a time, so that they can fully experience what it is that Krump is and what we offer, which is
Nice.
more than Krump,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And I think like the whole idea of having healthy community is what we're building.
Nice. And I think there's an intimacy there too. You know what I mean? There's the intimacy of we're all here doing this exact same thing, and there's no outside like looky loo. You know what I mean? Like a
Yes,
just the
yes,
eavesdropper, a Cowan who's
yeah,
coming to pervert this space. You know, we
yeah.
are here
Like
to
people that are 1 foot in, 1 foot out, we don't want them.
lukewarm. I hate it.
Yeah.
Can't stand it. Can't stand it. You know what I mean? My mom told dude, shout out mom, man. She been dropping some gems on me lately. Um because dude, I've picked up the Bible here recently.
Yeah.
And though I'm not a Christian and I do not believe in the practice of religion, um, there's been a lot of stuff that's came my way, and I've looked through the Bible, and and like I've told her and I've told other people, it just speaks to me in a language that I can understand. You know,
Mm,
I don't read Hebrew, so I'm not going to pick up the Torah. You know what I
right.
mean? And I don't speak Arabic, so I'm not going to pull up the Quran, right?
Yeah.
But here is a holy text. You know, people can believe in whatever they believe. I don't care.
Yeah.
And these metaphors and these rhymes and riddles, they make sense to me. And so I told her I've been reading the Bible recently, and she goes, "Well, baby, God doesn't like lukewarm." She goes, "So if you're going to study, study." And she's like,
Mm,
"And let it impact your life."
mm.
I was like, "That's."
Ooh, I like that.
I was like,
Damn.
"Oh, I like that. I like that a lot." You know what I mean? Um, and and so like when I'm in the lab with people, I like to know that we're exploring the same way, you know?
Mm,
Like when I
mhm.
turn and I look, you know, just to kind of peek, like I want to see somebody getting it. Like, you know what I mean? They're in there getting it in. Like, yeah,
That
man, like,
bag, yep.
to have that space, bro. And I love to hear that you guys are providing something like that. Cause you know, even speaking with Pono, man, he's trying to do that with Hawaii, and it's beautiful. And you're fucking talented. Like, I want to make sure everybody knows that you got to look up Hood, man. You got to look him up. This man is insane, insanely talented. Um, and one video I always look over too is the performance you and Nadia did with God, I can't remember the name of the performance, but you were rapping. She was
Oh,
dancing,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, what a connection! Like that is That is something else
Yeah,
to have. I mean, I would never know how it feels as like a rapper to have like look across the floor and see somebody just getting off to your track.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like I'm like those are my words. Those are my words that's
yeah,
inspiring this movement. But then for it to be your partner, man, like a
yeah.
beautiful sight,
So
dude.
special, bro.
Some
So
that's
special.
something special, bro. Something special happened right there.
Yeah.
I look to that a lot for inspiration, bro. Like, there's got to be something like that for me in my life somewhere,
Bro,
bro.
100%, bro. 100%. Being able to be like open to those experiences and, you know, not having an expectation on even what the physical form of that looks like
Mm.
can be challenging.
Ooh, yeah.
Because like I've actually told Nadia and we're as open and honest with each other as possible.
Mhm.
And she's seen me with all these other girls and like in my mind, from like watching porn and all this kind of stuff, like it's obviously in our brain, it's askew. We think
Mhm.
about fantasy a lot.
Mhm.
And for me, I think it's about life is also about creating the fantasy with what you have,
Wow. Yes.
you know? And like I have to constantly remind myself like I have everything that I need to create that,
Mhm.
you know?
Absolutely.
And especially like with the 1010 space, it's like really because we're street dancers, we don't really think, from my experience anyway, a lot of people don't think about street dance as a holistic practice.
Mhm.
So that's what we are doing our best to basically like guide a new breed of dancers that use dance in this way, which I'll say not cancels out, but like equalizes being great at it and then also having a life that um, is in resonance with that,
Yes.
you know,
Mhm.
because I know, what it's like to have dance be the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Like myself and Nadia realized this year. It's like, fuck, we've been giving ourselves to dance so much that we haven't actually lived, bro.
Mhm.
Everything was dance. Everything was saving to go to an event, saving to fly out to here and blah, blah. And which is all well and good. If you're in that part of your journey, then dope. But like, we've been in it for so long that we've realized like we just want to live and dance,
Yeah.
not live for dance,
Mhm.
you know? Like, yeah, we're building, like, we love it. We're building what we want to build, and we want to be of service to the people that need dance in the way that we're facilitating it.
Absolutely. Uh,
Um,
I think living I even hit a point where I was living because of dance. It was the
yep,
only thing that
yep.
was getting me out of the bed, you know?
This is all I have. This is all I have.
It's all yeah, it's this is it. This is,
Yeah.
and I hate to say it this way, but Elijah kinda took that from me. He kinda took
Mm,
dance from me at a point. Like, when he was born, I was hitting such a high octane of dance, like
mm,
Buckster,
yeah,
sessions every week. I was there
yeah,
3 days, 3 days out the week, I'm driving an hour and a half to go hit a session, and then AOV, AOV, world's best choreo team and all this shit. I was that guy, man, from my
mm,
city. I was that dude, bro. And he was born, and I was just like, okay, like whatever, And there was maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Let me be real, maybe like 2 or 3 months. Sid stayed home and took care of the baby, and I was doing the dance shit. And then I don't know what it was or where it was, but I was like, no, I'm gonna be home with the fam tonight, guys. And then
Yeah.
that got to be addicting. And the next thing it was,
Yeah.
I'm just home. You know, if I'm not then it was like, yeah, if I ain't at a session, I'm at home. If I ain't at home, I'm at a session. And then, you know, I just got to picking up other shit, you know, podcasts and drawing
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And dude, definitely take myself out on dates, you know, go walk the beach, you know, especially after the split up, you know, it was, you know, take him on a date. And then when
Yeah.
I ain't got him, you know, I'm gonna go walk the beach, bro. I'm gonna just go sit in this park and just sit, you know,
I think
and
that's such an important part of life in general is like creating space for yourself.
mhm.
Something like super powerful. Like I'm reading this, bro. I'm sure you would have heard of the book. This right here.
Wow, yeah, dude.
Yeah. Rick Rubin is on one,
Rick
man. And
Rubin, Rick Rubin.
yeah, and
Mhm.
something that he said, which is will forever sit with me, is like when you want an answer to something, ask the question and then let it go.
Mm.
And then it'll just come to you when it needs to. And
Yes,
I
sir.
was just like, damn, because that's basically creating space for God, universe, whatever you want to say, to come in and give you what you need,
Mhm.
you know? And like going back to 1010, we want to be able to provide that space for people on a freestyle level. We're going to be starting cruise next year, which is mad exciting because like
Mm.
I've been holding back for a long time on um dropping like choreography and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And Nadia's always been like, yo, your choreography is like nothing else I've ever seen, you know? And like for me, it's just like that part of like, fuck, I have to work that muscle and create and create. So like, man, I would love to have a full show, and I am gonna do this, like of all my music and dancers just dancing and like experiencing the music and giving the audience a physical representation of what the music is. Because
That's
like my
beautiful.
music isn't, I know my music isn't for everybody,
Mhm.
right? And it doesn't need to be. But like where I speak from is such a
It's you, man.
pure, yeah, it's me, right? And like I feel so vulnerable in my music that sometimes I get scared of sharing that with people
Mhm.
because I'm like, oh, is it too like internal? Is it too like personal? Is it too spiritual? But it's like that's the that's the thing that I c- I have to offer.
Yes, and that's enough, brother,
Yeah, 100%.
and
And
that's enough.
yeah, to be able to create that with the people that are in my space, with the people that I love and that are like working with me, that's like the goal.
Mhm.
So slowly moving towards that and creating that space with 1010 and being able to do that with the people that are in it and a part of it is like the best thing ever. Like when we had our media recital, like everybody just went in, bro. Like so in. Some of them it was their first time battling. We made sure that it was intimate though,
Okay.
because we don't want just any fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry coming in, going back to the sacred space thing. We want to make sure that it's just their family and friends, just our
Okay.
family and friends, you know?
Mhm.
Um, but bro, I have never felt so fucking high in my life. Just
That
from
natural
experience.
blissful high.
Yeah, bro. Just experiencing them go and be in their truth. Like, oh man, it was so crazy, bro.
That's beautiful, bro. Oh my god.
And that's what it's about. It's not about the dubs,
Mhm.
right? Even though, like, when we have, because we have our Sunday classes, so today we've got one, we always debrief an event.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit everybody down, we go around and just be like, yo, so how did you feel about your battle? How did you feel about the event? Everybody goes through their thing, and then we give them feedback of, not even on a technical aspect, that comes later, you know? But it's just like, yo, you were so in your fucking bag. You made me feel boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? Like giving people the opportunity to feel themselves without having the care of being technically advanced,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And like doing small things like before everyone went on, I was like, B, maybe we should give them like, because we've got, Nadia's got these cards and it's basically just like affirmation cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am blah, 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 blah. So we got them to pick a card all out and read it all out. And it was what they needed to hear, you know, just
That's,
having small things like that. And then like having them say it and remind themselves and write it down on their wristband gives them so much more power to just be like, yeah, fuck all of that. Um, let's say, fuck all the noise.
yep.
I'm gonna just do me as best I can.
Yep.
And that's gonna be enough. Don't
It's
worry
always,
about the drugs.
it's always enough. I had a buddy who came on the show, and he's trying to get his start in comedy, and he was talking about like, man, my comedy's not for everybody. I was like, but
Mm,
it's you though, and you is enough. It,
yeah,
sure, your crowd might start off with one or two people because it's not pleasing to everybody.
yeah.
But on this rock, you will build your church, and then
Mm,
those church pews will be filled, my brother. Like it's
mm,
all it takes, bro, is just be you, and for you, like him for you, man. Like you guys are going to build your community that's not filled of lukewarm. You know what I mean? Lukewarm people who, oh, I don't like this song, but I kind of like this one, or oh, the lyrics are cool, but the beats whatever, or vice versa. It's like you will have people, man, who will fill the fucking seats with those ass cheeks and will be 100% in it to win it with you guys, man. And
yeah,
I
bro.
really love the idea of having it like kind of closed off, more intimate, for the
Yeah.
students, because that's what Sherwin did for me with the Beast Camp Labs. It
Mm,
was people don't remember they were invite only, and then it
right.
was hey
Bruh.
first
Yeah.
first 10 people, and then it was first 15 people, and then it was like once a month, and I was like, listen, dude, I need it every week. Like I need this like crack. And then it turned into one of the biggest sessions, if not the biggest session in all of America. I mean, I could go as far as to say the world if I really want to talk my shit, but
Yeah.
definitely in all of America, man, turned into something big. Um, brother, listen, dude, I gotta go hit the gym, and I'm
Yes,
gonna go
sir.
get this workout in, brother. And we got to do this again because there's just so much more.
So
There's
much.
so much more, bro. But when's your guys' next show? When's the next thing you guys got planned for the 1010?
So November, Perth, Australia, we've got Rage coming out, and we're just doing a whole show, man.
All
Like,
right.
and that's something else that we want to make known to people in the general public, that Krump can be done in a certain way,
Mm,
because everyone sees Krump in like EBS, and which is super dope. That's got its place. But
mm-hmm.
we know ours, and we just want to create a show that makes people um you know put Krump in a space where it's very, how can I say, not just tournaments. I don't know how else to explain it, but not just tournaments, not just about battle. Like we're showcasing our students with Krump and storytelling and all that kind of shit, kind of like putting Krump in a show, like an
Nice.
actual show. That's what we're doing. Um, yeah, rather than just battles and tournament. Like, we already know that's done. That's been
Yeah.
done. And that's always going to be a forever thing. But we're approaching it in a way of, like, for example, like sports,
Mm-hmm.
athleticism.
Add in that second layer, man. Add in that second layer.
Yep.
That's, dude.
Yeah, because if we're, really about the, like, holistic picture, we have to be that first. Yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, dude. Ian, man. One of the things too, because I listened back to our old podcast, and
Yeah.
one thing, bro, I really, really appreciate about you, bro, is that you really take the time with everything that you do, everything that you present, and the way that you converse. Because bro, we're fam, man. Like, you know what I mean? And you really take the time to intellectualize what you're going to say. You're very purposeful with what you say and very intentful, all these things, man. And it shows, bro, with the work you put out, the music, the dancing. Um, and I mean, I'll never in my life ever forget watching you dance at Buckster and be like, oh, okay, that's Hood. There he is. Like that's that fucking guy, bro.
Yeah.
And that was a huge moment. And I'm glad to share life with you, bro. I'm thankful that you're alive, and I'm thankful that you're in my life. And
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to chop it up, bro. Again, but like face to face,
hell
have
yeah,
that
bro.
have that exchange, because I don't think we've ever like battled.
No, no, we
So
labbed and we did those like
yeah,
it was like, oh, you give a round, oh, you give a round, but like get in the ring, like, you know what I mean?
yeah, man,
Definitely, brother, and have that exchange, man.
yeah, 100%. So another thing that we're doing, we're going to get as many people as we can in 1010 to head to LA next year sometime.
Let's go.
So I'll be seeing you out there soon, bro.
Let's go, brother.
Definitely get that
Bro, and
in.
I was just telling somebody too, like, man, I want a vacation to Australia. Like, I got
Bro,
family there.
come.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying my hardest. Um, so for everybody listening and anybody who's going to listen, man, um, give them Hood's gym of the night and let them know your social medias, where they can find you, where they can book 1010 trainings, all that stuff, brother.
Yeah, so like it says down below, the real Ian Mello. You can find me on Instagram. Um, my TikTok is the same as well. With 1010 performers on Instagram. And if you type in 1010 performers on Google, we're the only peoples that come up. So yeah, man, if you want to be a part of a beautiful community, regardless of whether you're advanced in it, in street dance or Krump, or you're completely new to this shit, we know that we have something beautiful to offer you guys. And it's more than the movement that we're talking about here. Yeah, I've got all my music out on Spotify, MDMC. If you want to check that out too, I think that's it.
My guy. Thank you,
Thank you for
brother.
having me, bro. It was so dope.
Absolutely, dude. And we're going to do this again. Definitely do this again before the show, and then we'll do another one after your show so that we can
Yeah,
recap on it, man. Uh,
for sure.
Smoking section, everybody who's watched and who's going to watch. Hope you guys have an amazing day, week, month, year in life. Until next time, my man Ian, I'll be messaging you right now, brother. All
Yes,
right.
sir. All right. Much love, bro.